I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys.
So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense.
Like, people are starting acting surprised. Oh, Jon's a duck, this, that and the other. Jon Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage.
Jon Jones responded to Tom Aspinall's accusations of ducking, firmly rejecting the claim as he made it clear that he's not avoiding anyone, but simply doesn't see Aspinall as a legitimate contender. On the other end, Tom Aspinall said that Jon Jones reminds him of a politician because he tries to control what fans think. Aspinall explained that he has never attacked Jon's legacy and actually thinks it is incredible and much greater than his own or most fighters in the UFC. He made it clear he has no personal issues with Jon and respects what he has done in the sport. The real issue, according to Aspinall, is that Jon holds the UFC heavyweight title while he believes he is currently the best heavyweight in the world.
See, the thing with Jon is he's a bit like a politician. He likes to control the narrative of what fans think. I have never once come after Jon's legacy. I think it's unbelievable. I think his legacy is going to be far superior to mine and most of the guys who are fighting in the UFC. Never had a problem with his legacy. I've never had a problem with him personally. The problem is he has the heavyweight title and I'm the #1 heavyweight in the world.
Tom Aspinall went on to say that people should not be surprised by Jon Jones being called a duck because in his view, Jones avoided fighting Francis Ngannou for 3 years. He claimed that Jon often chooses fights where he has the advantage and tries to shape public opinion in his favor. Aspinall said this is not a personal attack, but simply the truth. He described Jones as sensitive and calculated, someone who calls himself the greatest and dismisses Aspinall as a nobody. In response, Aspinall pointed out that he is ranked #1 and has finished 5 of the top 10 heavyweights in the first round, making it clear he is not someone to overlook.
Like, people are starting acting surprised. Oh, Jon's a duck, this, that and the other. Jon Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage. And that's not me getting at Jon. These are the facts of it. Jon's a very touchy guy and he likes to, like I say, he likes to be smart about his approach and control the narrative of fans by saying he's the GOAT, which he's definitely got a case for, by saying that, oh, this guy, Tom Aspinall's a nobody. Well, mate, I'm a nobody who has a #1 ranking and has finished 5 of the top 10 guys in the first round. Like, I'm one of them top 10 guys, so that's 9 guys. 5 of them I've beaten the first round. So there's only 4 guys left in the top 10 who I haven't beat.
However, Jon Jones addressed the talk about him avoiding Tom Aspinall, saying he is not ducking him at all. He explained that if he failed to fight Stipe Miocic, that would be considered ducking because they signed a contract to fight over a year ago. Jones said the talk about Tom came out of nowhere after Aspinall won a belt and suddenly people started claiming he was avoiding him. According to Jones, there have never even been negotiations for a fight with Aspinall. He believes fans are ignoring the facts and just want to see someone they think can finally challenge him, which is why the narrative has taken off.
So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense. So the fans are just ignoring it. They're ignoring all logic and they just have finally found someone that they think can compete with me and everyone wants to see it now.
I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
Moreover, Tom Aspinall responded to fans defending Jon Jones by saying he has no issue admitting that Jones has a far greater resume. He acknowledged Jon's achievements, but pointed out that Jones currently holds what he believes he deserves. Aspinall said he wants to prove he is the top heavyweight, and the only way to do that is by facing Jones in the octagon. He expressed frustration that a champion of Jon's level is unwilling to give others a chance when real competition is knocking at the door.
I see a lot of touchy fans online being like, well, Jon's done this superior to... Listen, no arguments that Jon Jones's resume is far superior to mine, but he has what I deserve, and I want to go and prove that I'm the guy, and that's the only way we can sort it. So I'm challenging him to a fight, and I'm a little bit disappointed that Jon, as the great champion that he is, doesn't want to give other guys that opportunity when someone's breathing down his neck.
Aspinall added that true champions respond when someone challenges them, and if Jon thinks he is not worthy, then he should prove it in the cage. He said he would have no problem shaking Jones's hand and admitting defeat if he lost, but at least he would have taken the shot. What he finds disappointing is the apparent avoidance and unwillingness to face a real test, something he says he does not respect.
Because that's the first thing that most champions would do, is like, right, this guy wants it, I'm going to put him in his place. And if he thinks I don't deserve it, show me that I don't deserve it. Show me. Sweet, mate. If you kick my ass in front of the whole world, I'm happy to put my hand out and go, listen, you're the better man. No problem. You took my dreams away from me, but at least I tried. But this ducking and diving is something that I don't really have respect for.
The issue began when Jon Jones dismissed Tom Aspinall as a legitimate contender, pointing out that Aspinall has not defeated any former or current champions. In response, Aspinall fired back, confidently stating that Jones is avoiding him because he sees the fight as a threat to his legacy and wants to protect his undefeated record at heavyweight.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith, like just another up-and-comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
However, Jon Jones described Tom Aspinall as frustrating and admitted he is not a fan of his personality, though he acknowledged that their matchup would be a major event. Jones made it clear that if he is going to fight Aspinall, the financial offer must be significant. He explained that he is already enjoying a good life and does not need the fight, whereas Aspinall does, which he believes gives him the upper hand in any potential negotiations.
He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me, and that's my own personal, he annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying, and I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that you money, honestly, and that's just what it is. That's just what it is, or else my life is perfect without him. I don't need him at all, and he needs me. And that's a good place to be in a negotiation.
Daniel Cormier made it clear that Jon Jones has no fear of Tom Aspinall or any other fighter, firmly rejecting that suggestion. He believes Jones is simply being smart and calculated, focusing on preserving his legacy rather than dodging difficult matchups. Cormier pointed out that while many fighters eventually hand things over to the next generation, Jones may choose to go out on his own terms. Still, he added that taking on Aspinall, even if there is some risk, wouldn't damage Jones's legacy considering everything he has already accomplished in the sport.
Jon Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall. I wish people would stop saying that. He is not afraid of that guy. He's not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid to fight this guy. He's not. I think he's trying to be more strategic. I think he's trying to make sure his legacy stands. I don't know how it could ever be faded. I mean, we do have short memories, but could you ever forget what he did? I don't think him fighting Tom Aspinall with the potential that he would lose is a bad thing. But as most would expect him to win the fight. But at the end of the day, the old guard has to get passed through for the new guard to go, unless you don't play the sport by the way that everyone else does it. Everyone else does it that way. Maybe Jones will be different.
Frank Mir shared a similar perspective, praising Tom Aspinall as a highly talented heavyweight with a bright future. At the same time, he defended Jon Jones from claims that he is avoiding the fight, stating that Jones has earned the right to be selective after consistently facing top-tier competition throughout his career. Mir reminded fans of Jones's long-standing dominance in the sport. While he recognized that Aspinall's speed and striking present a real threat, he believes that if Jones can close the distance and make it a physical battle, he would still favor Jones to win.
I think Aspinall's a phenomenal heavyweight. I think he's going to be there for a while. With Jon, it's hard for me to tell people. The guy has earned so much. I feel like sometimes people have such a short memory in our sport. The guy has been one of the most dominant fighters of all time. If he wants to pick and choose who he fights, at a certain point, he kind of earned the right to. But he faces criticism, I guess, from other people. But as far as what settles in my stomach, well, I get it because. Look how people are short memory with him right now. Oh, he's not the GOAT and he's dodging Tom. Like, man, this guy fought everybody. I don't count him out in a fight with Aspinall. I've trained with Jon. I know how he feels when he grabs a hold of you. I think Tom's hands could really be the X factor if we can catch him or not. Tom's striking is more powerful than a lot of the people and speed-wise in Jon's face. If Jon grabs him, though, I'm betting on Jon.
Rampage Jackson shared his respect for Jon Jones, saying he doesn't believe anyone is capable of beating him. Reflecting on their own past matchup, Rampage admitted he was in top shape, but still couldn't overcome Jones. Although he sees Tom Aspinall as a real threat with dangerous skills, he doesn't view him as a serious danger to Jones. Rampage also mentioned hearing that Jones is planning to spend 6 months studying Aspinall's style before a possible fight. He praised Jones's intelligence in the cage, even calling him the Neo of MMA for his unmatched ability to control and shape the direction of a fight.
You fought Jon Jones back in the day. People are
Why you only bringing up my losses?
People are all talking about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. How do you see that fight going? You got Tom or you got Jon?
Man, I don't think there's nobody on this planet that can beat Jon Jones because I was in there with him. I was at my best, and I've never lost a fight at my best until Jon Jones. And no disrespect to Tom Aspinall, but he a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I think he's probably second best out there, but I don't see him.
You think Jon Jones finishes him?
I think Jon Jones is just a real smart fighter. I heard something like he want to take 6 months before he fight Aspinall. I think it's because he want to study him. He want to break him down. Right. Jon Jones ain't no fool. He's probably one of the smartest fighters out there. I say he like Neo. He's Neo of MMA.
George St. Pierre also spoke about Jon Jones's legacy, calling him possibly the most dominant figure in MMA history. He said that if the sport needed one fighter to represent it in a one-on-one battle, Jones would be his choice. While St. Pierre fully recognizes Jones's greatness, he also noted that no athlete can outrun the natural decline that comes with age.
Jon Jones, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. Talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think I would be Jon Jones. It's hard to deny that.
On the other hand, Colby Covington took aim at Jon Jones, accusing him of avoiding tough competition like Tom Aspinall. He argued that Jones is selectively choosing opponents where he has a clear advantage, instead of facing real threats. Covington pointed out that Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for years, and is now doing the same with Aspinall, choosing instead to fight an aging, past his prime Stipe Miocic. He didn't hold back, calling Jones both a coward and a cheat, criticizing what he sees as a consistent pattern of dodging the toughest challenges.
Dude, Jon Jones is an absolute disgrace to this earth. He's a joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Respect to Stipe first off, because he's a first responder and he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was past his time. He shouldn't even have been there, man. He knows he was old and he was just showing up for a paycheck. That's not the Stipe of old. That was in his prime anymore. So, I don't think anything special that performance. I think Jon needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall, just like he ducked Ngannou. He ducked Ngannou for years. Now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's getting his ass whooped against. So I don't think anything special to Jon Jones.
Tom Aspinall also shared his honest opinion about Jon Jones, acknowledging that while Jones might be considered one of the greatest fighters of all time, he personally doesn't see him as the best. Aspinall pointed out that Jones has failed multiple drug tests, and for him, that's enough to disqualify someone from the greatest of all time debate. He accused Jones of cheating by using performance-enhancing drugs, emphasizing that it's unfair, especially when facing fighters who compete clean. Although Aspinall clarified that he doesn't believe Jones used steroids, he still believes that any form of PED use is a form of cheating.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it, he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating.
However, UFC welterweight champion Belal Muhammad believes Tom Aspinall could be Jon Jones's toughest challenge yet, pointing out Aspinall's strength and speed as key qualities of the new generation of fighters. While Muhammad thinks Jones would probably still come out on top, he noted that the fight would only make sense if the financial rewards are significant. He expects Dana White will push for the matchup due to its potential for a big payday, but speculated that Jones, having already solidified his legacy, would likely prioritize a fight with Alex Pereira unless the payout for facing Aspinall reaches between $30 and $50 million.
If I'm Jon Jones, like a lot of people consider him the GOAT, the best fighter ever do it. The next hungry lion is Aspinall. It's probably the toughest fight that he'll have. Like this guy's the next generation. He's a lot stronger, a lot faster. But I think Jon Jones is good enough to beat him. But it's like it has to be worth it. The fans are fickle, right? You lose one fight, they're gonna, he sucks. Right? They just care about your last win or your last loss. I think Dana White and them will end up making it. Dana White's a smart businessman. He knows how much money that fight would make. If I'm Jon Jones, you've already done everything in the sport. It's not worth it unless it's that $30 million, $50 million payday. If I'm Jon Jones, I'm picking out Pereira first over Aspinall.
Eddie Hall expressed strong belief that Tom Aspinall would defeat Jon Jones if they ever faced off in the octagon. While acknowledging Jones's legendary status in MMA, Hall argued that Aspinall's talent, speed, and potential would give him the upper hand in the fight.
Jon Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is UFC's #1 right now. Jon Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. I genuinely do. I think Jon Jones, I can't badmouth the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking Tom Aspinall.
Hall also criticized Jones for seemingly avoiding the matchup, suggesting that his reluctance indicates fear. He emphasized that actions speak louder than words and maintained his conviction that Aspinall would come out on top if the fight took place.
He can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words, so there we go. Anyway, the answer to that question is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is kicking Jon Jones.
However, Paddy Pimblett described the potential fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall as a must-watch event. While he expressed his support for Aspinall and hoped he would win, Pimblett acknowledged Jones's exceptional fight intelligence and tactical brilliance. He admitted that it's difficult to bet against Jones, given his vast experience and strategic approach to fighting, making the matchup even more intriguing.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against Jon Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts on this in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.